Hello everybody, and welcome to the video about the conjunction of Mars, Uranus and star Algol in the zodiacal sign of Taurus, which is happening right now from the 14th until the 16th of July 2024, with its culmination on the 15th of July. So in this video we are going to talk about what exactly is conjunction. We're going to discuss the nature of both Uranus and Mars, and especially we're going to talk about the nature of the star Algol, and then we're going to discuss how conjunction in Taurus is different from conjunction in any other zodiacal signs. And in the end, I'm going to describe how you can find this particular conjunction in your own birth chart to understand which area of life is going to be the most affected by this celestial occurrence. So first, a couple of words about what exactly is conjunction. Conjunction is when two planets are coming together and their energies are intertwining, enhancing each other in order to create a unique pattern which can be manifested in our life in a particular situation or occurrence. When we talk about Mars, the archetype of Mars is an inner warrior. So when we talk about Mars, it is an energy which is very fiery, very combustible, and very intense. So Mars rules Aries, right? And Aries, archetype of Aries is a center of a star. So if you can imagine what sort of processes are happening inside of Aries and how much tension this is, how much pressure this particular fire creates, then you can understand a little bit about how Mars is really, really hard to control. And this is why it's very often that in daily life, and I mean, we all are learning how to deal with this energy. We all are, this is the meaning of life, right? To learn and to master all the energies. So for those of us who are just starting to deal with Martian energy, it's very often manifesting as just pure aggression. So depending on the level of mastery, depending on the level of experience that we have with Martian energy, with time we learn to manifest it not just as a pure dominance or pure attempt to be aggressive. It's the energy that we are using when we are fighting, when we are in competition, when we are burning with passion and desire. It is the energy of effort. It is the energy of mastery in the end, because in order to create this 10,000 repetitions that are necessary in order for us to become a master of something, we have to get sort of angry. Yeah, but this anger is not supposed to be splashed on the outside. It's supposed to be accumulated and channeled into a very precise action. So this is what mastery is, right? So while we are still learning to deal with Mars, this energy can manifest itself as explosions, as fights, as conflicts, as aggression, as attempt to dominate, attempt to control. But also it is very important to remember that we all have to start somewhere, and we are all learning. In order to become a skillful warrior, in order to learn to channel your inner warrior in a positive way, you have to learn to control the anger and the need to control and need to dominate. When we are talking about Uranus, this is one of the transpersonal planets, which is, its archetype is a lightning bolt. So you can imagine, when you want to understand what sort of energy Uranus is, you can imagine holding on to a high voltage cable. So on one hand, yes, it is enlightening, but on another hand, it can be very unpleasant. And sometimes Uranus is responsible for enlightenment. It's responsible for insights that we get, especially when we are thinking about something very, very intensely for a while and we just can't get it, and then like this moment of eureka, this is what Uranus is responsible for. And most important part here is to understand that too much of Uranian energy, when it is not grounded, when it is not manifested into something, can lead to overthinking and can lead to intense mental activity, which is not necessarily good for us and can sometimes even be harmful. So it is important to remember, even though Uranian energy is about revolution and technological progress and liberation of collective consciousness, but it is very important to remember that Uranus is a planet responsible for enlightenment. It is the energy which creates the Kundalini awakening, and it is this lightning bolt, this impulse, which is initiating the process of awakening and expansion of consciousness. At the same time, when it is too much of this energy, that can be very exhausting for our mind and for our body, because it creates a lot of tension and a lot of stress because of its high vibrational nature. So when we feel like there is too much Uranian energy in us, it really helps to, for example, walk bare feet on the ground and allow this energy to go through into the ground. So now let's talk a little bit about the archetypes of the Algol star. Algol is the star which is carrying the energy of collective feminine rage. So, and again, I would like to say that we all have masculine and feminine energy within us, and where masculine energy represents logical and direct and physical, feminine energy represents complicated, spiritual, mystical, and subtle. At least in this concept which I am following, Algol star is the one that is situated in the 26th degree of Taurus. Algol is a star in the constellation of Perseus, and it represents the cut-off head of Medusa, which Perseus holds. If you are aware of the mythology, of the Greek mythology, Medusa was initially a priestess in a temple of Athena. And when Poseidon, or Neptune, it's his other name, seduced her and she lost her virginity. Well, there is one story which tells that he raped her. There is another story which says that he seduced her, but it doesn't matter. The fact was the fact that she lost her virginity, and only virgins could be priestesses of the Athena's temple. So when Athena learned about that, instead of being merciful and compassionate, she got angry, and as she couldn't express her anger on Neptune himself, she condemned this priestess to live in the caves. And of course, like any other woman who was treated unfairly and repressed, she turned into a terrible monster, which in the end was called Medusa Gorgona, right? This creature with snakes instead of her hair, and she was so frightening that people turned into stone just by looking at her. And then at some point, Perseus, through deceit, managed to cut off her head, and this is what this constellation represents. So if you can imagine how much rage and anger is in this particular star, right? Like this star represents the head of Medusa. In astrology, archetypically, this is the star which carries energy of Lilith and represents the Lilith energy on the spiritual fire level, right? We have the energy of Lilith. If you also know the myth, the Lilith was the original wife of Adam, and because she refused to have a sexual interaction with him in a certain way, how he wanted, she was cast away from the Eden and also turned mean. So I also think it is very important to know how to read this myth. And in my comprehension, this is just about nature and a man trying to suppress nature, trying to dominate it, trying to control it, which is never really working out for the best for anyone. So I think that originally this myth describes the first separation between human and nature, and how our human consciousness is trying to dominate our own nature. So this Lilith energy in astrology is represented by 4 elements, and on a level of earth we have asteroid Lilith. In the element of water, on a level of our emotions and feelings, on the astral level, we have dark moon, which also is a very rarely used in astrology symbol, which represents the darker side of our emotions. And some astronomers say that there is a certain gravitational force which is behind the moon. I mean, I always say never believe my word and make your own research. So I think that that will be an interesting thing to Google and to try to find out this for yourself, research this for yourself. But as far as I could find information about that, there is a certain speculation about energy, gravitational force behind the moon, which is creating a certain disruptions in formula, so which cannot be explained until now by academic science, but in astrology this is what dark moon actually is, like the darker side of the moon, or representation of darker side of the moon on the astral level. So on the mental level, Lilith energy is represented by black moon, which usually in our birth charts shows the area of life and the energy of the zodiac sign, which we tend to see through fear and position of victimhood, also with a certain rage, and also on the level of element of fire, spiritual level, right? This is the star, Algol, exactly. Lilith energy represents the distortion of the original vibrational source. In my understanding, it is the necessary act in order to create everything that exists. If we think about source as original vibration, which is pure love, in order for everything that exists to be manifested, this vibration has to be distorted. Because if it's just love, it is what the source is, right? And everything is the same. But in order for creation, for the multiplicity of shape and form to be manifested in the creation, we have to distort this original vibration. So I understand Lilith and Lilith energy as this initial principle of distortion. And when we talk about the star Algol, that would be a collective feminine rage connected to repression, connected to injustice, connected to inability to be yourself. So now let's try and put these 3 things together, right? We have Algol, which is basically a collective feminine rage. We have Uranus, which is a lightning bolt, lightning strike, even though it is energy of enlightenment and it is about giving us insight, a very important insight, the insight that would liberate us. At the same time, it is a high vibrational energy, which is not that pleasant to feel because our bodies are not always prepared for that. So it's about insights, about us seeing something that we can't unsee. And then also there is a Martian energy, which is in higher vibrations. If you already mastered this energy, you can manifest it as a very precise and very correct action. But for many of us, that would just mean, because we're still learning how to deal with it, that would just mean impulsive behavior or anger or aggression or some sort of desires that we cannot really control, which are really, really hard to control. And all of this coming together, creating this unique pattern, which will be manifesting in the lives of each and every one of us differently. So, how to understand which area of life is going to be the most affected for you in particular? There is one of the ways which everyone actually can do, even if you are not very studied in the area of astrology. I mean, to create a birth chart for free, you can go to any particular website. In the comment box to this video, I'm going to leave the website, the link to the website which I usually use. It is astrosig.com. And you can just type in your date of birth, date and place and time of birth, and you are going to, in seconds, get your birth chart, right? And on this birth chart, you need to find, there will be 3 circles. On the first circle, there will be zodiac signs. The second circle will have all of the planets. And then the third circle has little numbers on it. So each number from 1 to 12 represents a certain area of life. This is also pretty easy to Google, which house is responsible for what. So you find the Taurus, and then you can understand which area of life is going to be the most affected, right? Like in this circle, you find the Taurus, and then you understand which area of life is going to be the most affected by this conjunction for you in particular. And the last, I guess, I would like to say a couple of words about recommendations how to deal with this energy. Taurus is about our values. It is the system of filters through which abundance of this universe flows in. So it is really depending on what do you think you deserve and about your own personal sense of self-worth. If you believe that you deserve particular things, those are the things that are going to seep through this system of filters which Taurus represents into your life, right? If you don't believe that you deserve something, no matter how much it is trying to get inside, it won't be able to get inside. So Taurus is a lot about our self-worth, about our values, which are reflected on a level of matter as our finances, our level of abundance, our real estate, our sense of security and safety, and how comfortable do we experience this material reality around us, how comfortable we are in this experience of material reality around us. So this very powerful conjunction in the area of our values represents, from my opinion, and please write in the comments below what is your opinion, how this energy can manifest. I will be really curious to know how this played out in your particular life, what exactly happened on the 15th of July and 3 days before, 3 days after. So it is about revolution in our values, I think, and I believe that it is also about some parts of us which have been suppressed, maybe even for a long time, and finally we are in this almost enlightened state where we have to do something to express ourselves. Also, another hint to what exactly is going on there is the ruler of Taurus, Venus, is in Leo right now, which is the sign of being in the center of attention, being in the light of the projector, right? And Leo is a lot also about artistic expression, but its shadow side is wanting attention with any cost. So just be attentive to I mean, I think that it is very valuable right now to express your hidden, unique talents, but also it is important to create a proper environment for that. So make sure you are not just striving for attention with no matter what cost, right? Make sure that this is expressed appropriately to an extent that you can, because both Algol energy and Mars energy and Uranian energy are really hard to control, and it's not that easy to just bend them to our will. More often than not, they will be expressed unconsciously, and we can only think about it afterwards. And if it is expressed unconsciously, more often than not, that would be about doing something that you could regret later. So, yeah, another recommendation is trying to express, to manifest this energy, because there is always a way, there is always a free will about how we are going to manifest whatever is the feeling inside of us, right? Like the evolutionary astrology says that when people are asking, did this happen because that was supposed to happen, or did this happen because I created this for myself? I think that both things are happening at the same time. There is a certain energy which is supposed to be playing out within us on certain moments in life, but it is also our decision how we are going to manifest it. So one person, when they get angry, they can get into a fight, right? Another person, when they get angry, they go home and clean the house. And a third person is going to go and finish a month worth of work. So try to think about how you can manifest this very explosive, very combustible, very difficult to control, but still, like, now that you've seen this video, you are aware of what's going on. So maybe you can at least try to manifest this energy in some kind of a positive way, right? So try to see if you can express maybe some of your hidden or repressed for a long time talents in some sort of a creative environment, artistic environment. That would be really great, and that would help to boost your self-esteem and a feeling of the self-worth. And please feel free to write in the comments below what was happening to you 14th, 15th, 16th, and maybe even 3 days before, 3 days after, because these planets are all very slow. So Uranus is going to stay on the Algol for some time, and Mars is a little bit faster, but still this whole thing is more like 2 weeks rather than 3 days. So let me know how this period of time is playing out for you, and which effect it has on your feeling of self-worth, which area of life this feeling of self-worth is going to be the most present. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.